Hi, guys. Sorry I'm late. It's been a day. I am. No, you didn't, sweetheart. It's been a day. Mm. I'm going to tell you what's really ironic is one of my classmates, Adriana, has not been to school. Um, and we were worried about her because in this last 2 weeks, our attendance is everything. Pretty much you can get dropped from the program. Thank you. And the director came in today and told us that she had been in a really bad car accident and she'd been to surgery and she was stable, and she could speak. And basically, it was going to take a little bit of time for her to get back. Now, our biggest concern was if she was going to be able to finish the program. They told us yes. Um, and as soon as the teacher told us that, I immediately said, "Can we say a prayer?" Because one, all of us right now are just totally at. I mean, we're here, we're here, and our biggest concern was because of her absence, she may not be able to finish the program, and that would just be heartbreaking. That one situation, and she's going to be out. So I asked Dr. Newsom, could we just say a prayer right now? And so we said a prayer. And even after we said a prayer, everybody was still kind of upset because of course she's part of our class. And I remember specifically in the prayer, I said, please keep us all covered. Give us your grace and your favor and keep us covered because we've worked so hard for this, and keep us all safe. Now I'm very grateful. I am safe. I am safe. And I talked to Billy, Nurse Garcia, twice today. And I talked to Kay Journey, Kiera, yesterday and the day before. And every time I've talked to any of them and any of you personally, everybody has said the same thing as far as me and my safety and well being. I am okay, Tina. As a psych nurse, I am constantly in conversation and education with my patients and their families. Because when situations like this happen, they're life changing, depending on where you are. And I always know what to say, I always know how to be supportive. And I'm telling you, this last 3 months, It has felt like I have switched roles with people. Today is December 2nd. In 10 days, not counting weekend, I complete this journey. And I am telling you that at every turn, there has been something. There has been something. And I can say this to everybody. I know on the 16th, when I finish, I'm definitely going to need to take a break. And I am not saying that facetiously. I woke up this morning, well, the last couple of days, I have been hearing this swish in my ear. And it was really, really strong. But what was weird about it is that it kept tapping like the same as my heartbeat. So quite naturally, I'm going to go see what is that. And I went to look it up. And it's a form of tinnitus that you get from anxiety, stress, and vascular issues. Well, I had immediately crossed out the vascular part because I don't have any health issues, but I could kind of get with the stress part because the studying, school, and all of that. But it was persistent. So I went and got my blood pressure cuff. When I went to bed last night, before I went to bed, it was 154 over 108. When I woke up this morning, it was 154 over 107. I've never in my life had high blood pressure. And so this morning, when I said my prayer, I was inclusive of calming my spirit and redirecting my energy and staying focused, but not allowing myself to get pulled. Now, something that the mothers of the church always tell you is as soon as you get busy with either God's work or you lay it down for God, understand what's coming next. But I'm one of those people that, well, I'm going to be optimistic, da 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 da. Not even taking into account, I've been a busy little bee in terms of things I have brought to the masses, the stuff that I share and I post. And I never really paid attention to any of that. I just felt like, oh, okay, this is the truth and I'm posting it and we're talking about it, not understanding that when you're telling the truth or you're doing something good, you will disturb some demons. There's that. So I said all that to say that it's been a long day. Yep. It's been a long day. Well, I can tell you all this. Being a nurse, I know what to do and I know better. We don't necessarily make the best patients, though. But I do work at being, if I tell or I share with other people things to do, I'm not one of those people to tell you, do as I say, not as I do. So there is that. So for everybody who is text sent a message. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I am physically okay. Now, when I get off of here tonight, I'm going to do what I always do. And I'm going to let go and let God in prayer. And you know how we are always saying that in this last 9 months, Shador has taught us how to stay faithful, how to be clear on what it is we have set out to do, and don't let other things distract you or bother you. He's 23 years old, and I'm certain not without flaw, but his demonstration of what that looks like, and with all the things that we are learning that are going on there, and all the things he's had to endure, you can only feel compelled, especially when you're my age, to be like, you might want to get it together, chick. you you might want to get it together. So, per usual, our little, and I say our little community because let me tell you something. Whenever we talk about something, it creates quite a flutter. And I'm a firm believer that, people who always have, everything go well for them and nothing is going wrong, there's something wrong with that picture. There's something wrong with that picture. I don't think that you should suffer or anything, but there is no such thing as life without any adversity or sacrifice or struggle. So when I see people who folks be like, oh, they have everything, life is this, life is that, I'm like, we might want to pull back the covers and take a gander. But I can tell you this wholeheartedly. I must have hit a wasp nest or stepped in a landmine because ever since I started really deep diving into things, I don't think we're off. I don't think we're conspiracy theorists. I am 100% that the things we are saying and sharing, they are accurate. Now, what I was coming on here to tell everybody is one, welcome to the new spot. This is probably going to be where I will be going live going forward. Just because this spot over here doesn't have the constraints that are over on TikTok. So there's that. Now, I posted some stuff today and yesterday, and well, as Billy always tells me, they're watching you. And she's not just talking about the people in Cleveland, she's talking about other creators as well. Yeah. So I shared with everybody this morning about how the dots have connected as far as all the things that we've seen and we've heard in reference to Kevin Stefanski. But that was made possible through Miss Zoe. So I had titled this Pillow Talk, not understanding or knowing that the rest of the evening's events was going to go this way. But here we are. So here's the deal. I'm going to first say this. For all of the nieces and nephews that may be in here, that's my early 20 somethings to my 30 something year olds. I hope you saw and you paid attention to the post I made as far as whatever goes on with you and your significant other, spouse, situationship, friends with benefits, whatever. The things that a person shares with you in reference to their livelihood are never supposed to leave the domain. And there are certain things that happen at your place of employment you shouldn't even be sharing with anybody. It's what we call, back in the day, take it to the grave. And the reason being is because as the older we get, the wiser we get, we learn that some things, once you say them, you can't unsay them. You can't unhear them. And the ramifications and consequences that will come after that are sometimes more than you're willing to pay in retribution. Now, Miss Zoe Caswell and Mr. Dylan Gabriel, just like all of us, they are young, and I'll give them that. I'll give them a certain latitude of grace because they are young and they're ignorant and they don't know. But there is a such thing called right and wrong. And there's this feeling that you get in your gut. It's called your intuition. And it will tell you when something is just not right. You don't necessarily have to know or understand what it is, but it's going to tell you if something is not right. And all of us have been guilty of pushing forward even when we felt that uncomfortable feeling. But what we are watching in real time is someone who had a dream to be a professional football player, came and got blessed, because let's be very clear, he got blessed to be drafted in the 3rd round. It was never in the books. It was not in the plan. But just like most of us, you're young, you're in love, the whole world is in front of you, you believe you're invincible, and you know everything, and you don't know shit. And so he decided to do what most people do when they're his age and in love. Whoever they're in love with at that time, that's who gets to make the ride with them. So he brought Miss Zoe along for the ride. The only problem is you didn't have the right people in place to prepare either of you for the ride you're about to get on. Dylan didn't have the right people in place to help him when he got drafted. He went along with the people who were representing the people who he used to play for. And I get it. You trust the people that you know. But as we all know, everybody that's rowing in the boat, they ain't rowing in the boat. Some people are poking holes in it. And people will keep you close and near and utilize, fleece, and exploit you for what they need and what is important to them. And for that, I really don't like that for Dylan Gabriel. No one deserves that. And when you're his age, you don't know any better. You're just doing what you think you know. But then there is Miss Zoe. And I'm going to give her a little bit of grace too. Because we've been young women before. We've talked too much. We've had loose lips. We thought we knew everything. We didn't know shit. We've been in love. We've been in love with young men who had aspirations of greatness. We've been in love with young men who actually were great. And sometimes we behaved and handled ourselves the correct way, and then sometimes we did not. To my nieces in here, if you are blessed to be coupled with a young man, and that young man is set and destined on a path of greatness, whether it is on the gridiron, the baseball field, the boardroom, or the classroom, that is his dream. That is his life path. You are a guest at that amusement park. And what that means is you must govern yourself accordingly. You are not in charge of anything. No one cares about your opinions. It ain't your place to speak on or set out. And the same thing for the nephews, if you get blessed with a young lady. But there was something about Miss Zoe's behavior that tells a different story than a young lady who is just oblivious in love and blindly ignorant. No, she's intentional. Because anybody who gets in front of a camera and asserts themselves as doing a get ready with me and is talking to you as if everything is okay, but took the time to calculate and type out a caption that would be rage baiting and directed to a specific group of people or persons, well, that's when the grace train stops because you know what you're doing. Just like you knew what you were doing when you opened up your mouth and you posted that. Something that your soon to be husband either heard or was told. You alluded to it, and you thought people were not bright enough to understand what you were saying. See, a lot of people kept saying, that sentence doesn't even make sense. It made perfect sense. And she knew what she was saying. The same way she knew what she was saying when she put the Browns in quotations. So now, because you don't want to work at the beauty counter anymore, and that's no slam to people that work at the beauty counter. I love a good makeup artist in my life. A girl needs a face beat every now and then, and I love a good friendly discount when I go in there to get my matte lipsticks and my lip glosses. So this is no shade at all. But you thought you were going to take your opportunity as the fiance of an upcoming professional football player who doesn't even have his foot solidly planted in the Cleveland Browns foundation. For all intents and purposes, him and Shador are still duking it out just to remain where they are because there's a draft coming. And Cleveland is not the team to be on if you believe in certainty. The only person on that team who is guaranteed a bona fide spot is Myles Garrett. That's the truth. Everybody else is fair game and fair market, open season. So for you to open your mouth and do what you did, you put your son, listen to me, you put your future husband in the most precarious situation you could. Because when it comes time to do damage control, they're going with the least expensive option first. And even if you were to get cut or waived by the team, any future team who is going to come along is going to pay attention to this firestorm that you created. And they know and understand you couldn't have made those comments without the authorization and permission and the input of the person who is inside the Cleveland Browns building. So now not only do we have to worry about this social media liability, young man, this is about to be your wife. How much control do you have over what is talked about and what is not? There will be things we're going to talk about in this meeting room. How can we trust you not to go home and tell her? Kira, I am not paying attention to you and your commentary right now. I will not. But I said all of that to say this, and V said it best: God works in mysterious ways. So you decided you wanted some of the spotlight. You got it. But now it's going to also cost someone else. Yeah, because you could have very well cost that young man his dream. Now, I'm not a Dylan Gabriel fan, but right is right and wrong is wrong. But he has some accountability in that too, because she can't, she doesn't go to practice. She's not in those team meetings. She's not on any of those calls, but maybe she is. I don't know. The bottom line is what go on in Vegas is. Now, let's just even stop talking about the football part. How welcoming do you think the wags are going to be knowing you are running your mouth? Because they got a code too. There are things that go on with them. It's not general population's business. And worse than anything else, Shador Standards, 3 different occasions, stood up in front of the world, defended and protected your fiance. And you continue to post because, as we've learned, it wasn't just once or twice. This was her thing. This was her thing. So while you are out here sharing what you like, what you don't like, the world is completely disgusted with your fiance. And Shador is telling everyone to back up off of him. So you further are confirming how we are putting together these dots that we're not off the mark. And I know some people have come on the post and they've been like, oh, they're not going to do anything. That's not how telling the truth works. When you tell the truth and you call truth to power, it is never about the other person. It is about acknowledging this is right or this is wrong. We don't have any control over what other people do, but what we do have control over is establishing the fact that we are not blind to what is going on. And we just need you to know that we know. And we will just have to trust and believe that the balance of justice and karma, it will take place. And I can tell you wholeheartedly, she shows up. And she shows up when you least want her to. Now, Jimmy Haslam is gunning for this new stadium, and anything and everything in the world that could possibly deter that is happening. I don't know how much involvement or lack of involvement Mr. Haslam has as far as what is going on, but I know I've had a business before. It was nowhere near the Haslam Sports Group, but I understood and knew what was going on to a day to day. So no one can tell me that they don't see what Kevin Stefanski is doing. No. But I understand how contracts work. And sometimes you have to eat a little BS and pretend it's chocolate pudding until you get to where it is you need to go. And the Browns are already paying a lot of people who are not there anymore. So the last thing they need to do is have to buy out a coach's contract, then have to pay somebody as interim, and then make sure everything. So I get it. It's a lot of pieces to this puzzle in this last couple of games of this season. And we're not the type of people to tell people what to do with their business. But what we will bring to your attention is you happen to have some precious cargo on your roster. His name is Shador Sanders. And however and whatever you do with other people, we ain't going to be okay with you just doing whatever you want to do with that one. So, yeah, we will say something about it. We will post about it. We will talk about it. And if it's found that there is something amok, then we're going to tell the truth about that too. Actually, Patty, I actually spoke to the young lady today and she gave me the full explanation. She chose not to post it because she didn't really want to kick up a dust, but she did say that she wanted to say something. And I shared with her that I would say something if she didn't feel comfortable doing it. I just wouldn't say her name and post what she shared with me. But I can clarify, I can validate and tell you what she experienced. It happened. So a young woman decided to take her baby to the game. Her baby is special needs. They were sitting in their seat. Miss Zoe and her party were looking for their seats. This young lady offered to help them find their seats. They couldn't. There were empty seats where the young lady and her son were sitting, and she was okay about them sitting there. The young man, her son, very excited to see Shador. That was the whole point in his mom bringing him to the game. One, it was his first game. Two, he absolutely loved Shador. So when it came time for Shador to come out, of course, the young man got excited, as we all did when we saw Shador come out and play. And he began to call his name and call his number, and he got excited. Miss Zoe got upset and commenced to saying really foul things. And there was a verbal altercation between her and the mother. And she called the mom out of her name. And she said some other things in reference to what the baby was saying. She didn't like it. And went so far as to try to have security put the woman out. Well, that didn't happen. They then asked Miss Zoe to move because you wasn't in your seat in the first place. And Zoe reached out to the woman and shared some stuff with her in the DM as well. So when I say to you that the behavior exemplified in those posts is not way off the mark, and I get being in support of your man, but that's not being in support of your man. That's something else. That is the confirmation of your character and who you are. That baby didn't have anything to do with anything. He was excited to see his football superhero. And regardless of that, you wasn't in your right seat. This young lady helped you find a seat so you could watch the football game. You didn't agree with the fact that somebody was cheering for a different quarterback than yours. You decided to be tacky and ugly and disrespectful, and you did so in front of this baby. So I do know this. No member of the Sanders family or anyone they were affiliated with, platonic or romantic, could do any of the things that we've seen and it just be blown over. He made those little slugs at Shador and everybody tried to tell us, no, that's not what he meant. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. We have all been in agreement. We do not like Cleveland. It is toxic. It is ugly. It is nasty. But it is toxic and it's ugly and nasty because they have allowed a vile culture to be grown and harvested there. And now there is a light that outshines all of that toxicity and it is disturbing the hell out of them. Some people have been like, so how do we get Shador out of Cleveland? We don't. Shador is not a quitter. He's going to stay in Cleveland until God tell him he need to go somewhere else. He set out to be a franchise player. And wherever he was going to be a franchise player, he said he was bringing them a Super Bowl. Shador doesn't walk back what he commits to. Shelby, that's cute. But while you trying to call me Manera Pope, uh, I'm over here like everybody else, the hybrid child of good times and family matters. Okay. I am liable to start singing that theme song that showed them kids running across the parking lot of the Cabrini Greens in the opening scene of Good Times. Why you over there calling me Manera Pope? Well, she again, when you are foul and you are in the presence of good and light, it'll disturb your demons. I don't know what you need protection from. Nobody is going to bother you, sweetheart. You are dealing with a community. That's not what we do. That's not what we do. And no matter how ill represented we are and how much of the stereotypical behavior they try to push as a narrative, the DNA of our community is one of embracing, nurturing, caring, supporting. We give away far more than we ever ask for in return or charge you for. So that's not our behavior. It- Normally, the creed is it ain't no fun if we all can't get some. But if you do something foul, we gonna call you on it. We'll feed you, but we gonna tell you about yourself. It is what it is. But it's two things you don't get to play with. We don't play with mamas, and we don't play with babies. We can't touch you when you're doing that. You're on your own. If you feel you need security, then you might need to go to church and talk to God because you ain't living right. Because ain't nobody bothering nobody at no football game. Now, I told y'all yesterday, y'all saw the picture when I was like this. I say, imagine you playing victim. Imagine you playing victim. And you created this firestorm. You did. Shador Sanders is at practice dancing, practicing his sellies, his selly poses, clowning with the vets, getting to know his teammates. He is no more thinking about anything outside of what's going on in Berea at that facility than the man in the moon. He don't care if you don't like him. He don't care if you don't like his daddy or his family. He don't care about the stuff you say about him. He knows who he is. He ain't minding none of this. None of this is bothering him at all. You saw if Shiloh Sanders can't rattle his cage, no one can. He's at Thanksgiving with his laptop up. Shiloh is trolling the hell out of him. He ain't stopped doing what he was doing. He was studying till his mama came over there and asked him what he wanted to eat. And he hopped up in his adorable self and went and stood dead next to his mama while she made him his plate. He ate his food. He joked a little bit. And then he said goodnight. He don't care about none of this. And you at a game talking about you need security. From who? For what? Was somebody getting ready to hold you up and take your Sephora discount card? I'm just trying to understand it. You and Rose harassing children and mamas in a section you don't even have a ticket to, but you need security. Oh. See, y'all saying I needed to rest. I needed to come on here because I needed something to tickle my spirit. I needed something to tickle my spirit because with everything that Lucifer is attempting to take from me, I just needed to laugh a little bit. And this has given me the chuckle I needed. This has given me the chuckle I needed. You needed security. You are cosplaying someone with an influence and celebrity. You want really bad for people to pay you attention. Little person, let me tell you something. All attention is not good attention. You had the opportunity. You had the opportunity. And let me be very clear. You had the opportunity to be embraced by the internet aunties, and you blew it. You blew it. Because you chose to be nasty and ugly. Because something you need to know about the Browns fans that you put in quotation marks. As an auntie, we love all the kids. We're going to make sure everybody eat. We're going to make sure everybody taken care of. Dylan Gabriel's family is in Hawaii. He could have had the internet family be supportive of him while he over here by himself. But y'all blew that. Because you decided to play for the team that has no morals and was raised by wolves and wild banshees. So now we have to turn our back on you. And here's a real memo flash. We are the last group to give a damn about your ethnicity. Hell, we give out more cookout tickets than we should. You talking crazy about the Browns fans and you and like working at Sephora? You know, or maybe you didn't know, but let me help you out. The Sanders family are not the only Black people in Cleveland with affluence and influence. This internet auntie, uncle, and cousin, do you know who's in here? Do you know who's in here? Well, let me help you out. Auntie herself was looking for somebody to help her with some digital download stuff. I called Kay to ask her about it. She and I tried to put our heads together. We couldn't come up with nothing. Lo and behold, come to find out, one of my most loyal nieces that's in here, that's her bag. That's what she do. So Auntie is on the phone with niece, and I'm like, say less. I missed you on this project, but going forward, I'd love to have you on my dream team. I need that. That keeps the circle of life going. No pun intended with the Lion King, but here we are, boys and girls. You was working at a makeup counter? Do you know how many aunties keep their face beat? You know how many aunties would have came in there and made sure you did what you needed to do so you could be off every game? You blew it. You blew it. See, you took a look at the landscape in Cleveland and you drew an assumption. Or maybe it was your time over there in Oregon. I don't know. But they always say, you know what happens when you assume. What brand do you think is going to pick you up with this foolishness? See, brands that you trying to shoot at, they like that girl next door thing. You got to be wholesome and fun and soft, ingenue, delicate, a wallflower. You acting like a milkweed. Internet is forever. And they watching you. Now, what if somebody decided to go to your job and share that information? I'm not saying that to be ugly. I'm just saying this is the world that we live in. So I'm going to let that go as far as the pillow talk portion. Now, to get to this detrimental material breach, I'm not at all shocked and surprised that Wyatt Teller said what he said, because now we are in the phase called we have to clean up our mess. Since people know about the conversation about the red shirting, people have put it together about detrimental material breach. I'm going to need to make some other people be on the injury list to justify all these injuries that have been going on. The only problem with that is the locker room has had a taste of what it looks like to go to the promised land with 12, and they're no longer buying that brand. I'm not at all surprised at Wyatt Teller. The other thing is, there's still some people in this world that tell the truth. They have integrity and principle and morals. And some of us, a whole lot of us, we can't go to sleep at night when we tell lies. So we just don't. We just tell the truth. Shador hasn't done anything to any of those gentlemen on that team but work at uplifting the spirit and the morale. And he wants to get a Super Bowl. And here's the thing that nobody else seems to understand, because we've watched Shador grow up as a member of Coach Prime's team. Shador is still somebody's little boy. And I don't mean little boy, but he's someone's son. And he's just like all the other sons. He wants to make his mother and his father proud too. His dad is a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He is respected, honored, and revered in every aspect of professional athleticism. Shador has grown up watching the world love and respect his father. What kid doesn't want to be like their dad? And as much as he wants to bring a ring to Cleveland, we're not talking about the fact he has a mommy and a daddy. In the same way we bust through the door with, look what I got, look what I did. You don't think those 5 Sanders children deserve to do the same thing? He made it to the pros. That's one thing to check off. He got to get out on that field and start. That's another thing. His daddy was able to be there and watch him play. His mom, wherever Shador is playing, his mother is there. She's either on a plane or she's sitting in that cold in Cleveland. His big brother has come out to see him. His other big brother has come out to see him. His sisters have come out to see him. He's like everybody else. He wants to make his family proud. He wants to make his parents proud. We think every time he throws up his wrist or he's looking out there, yeah, he loves the fans. But did anybody ever consider he's looking for Miss Pilar? He wants to see the look on his mom's face. When his dad was there, to see his dad walk out on the sideline, see him warm up. See, the media takes the human side away from Shador, and they just keep feeding this narrative. But Shador is a human being. He's someone's son. He's someone's brother. He's someone's grandson. He's someone's nephew. And just like all of our sons, brothers, nephews, and uncles, they have their life dreams and goals, and they want to make their families proud. Shador has been working for general population for a long time. This phase of his life is about him achieving some things that he gets to share just with his family. It's on a public stage, but this is about them. And the entire step since his transition to Cleveland has been toxic, chaotic, pandemonious. And they have tried everything in the world to dismantle, discredit, taint his reputation. And he is forgiven, and he is talked in support of, defended, protected. He didn't even say anything foul to or about Jerry Judy and that foolishness that happened on the sideline. So where we are right now, if they don't do anything with any of the stuff that I post and other people post, sharing the validity, the evidence, what is the real goal in all of this is that the young man and the young men that we have watched grow up into grown-ups and are now in the NFL, that they know that no matter what, there is a group of people who believe in them and support them, and we find their integrity and their principality and their loyalty to be admirable. And there's a lot of things they can't say, they cannot do, and we can. He can't talk about the things that are not right in Cleveland. We can. And we have. Now, the NFL, the Cleveland Browns front office, you see it and you know it. Whether or not you do something about it is going to be between you and God. That's the truth. And just like those of us that are several zero tax brackets lower than you, we can tell you firsthand there is no such thing as getting around karma and retribution. She is coming. So for everybody that says, oh, they're not going to do anything, they're not going to do anything, when it comes time to cash in, it's never by man's hand. You will pay your toll. Yeah. So with that being said, I have a long day ahead of me tomorrow. I have classes. And when I get off of here, I've got to figure out some things because I'm okay. But that car of mine, so there's that. But I'm very grateful. Thank you again to everyone who checked on me. I appreciate it. I always appreciate it. And these are the new digs. So the 14 plus thousand of folks that I got over there that follow me, I hope they come on over here. I like it over here. I mean, I'm going to still be on TikTok, but I like it over here. You know what, Kira? I cannot with you, ma'am. I'm not putting you to sleep tonight. I'm sorry. I need to go have a conversation with God, and then I need to just relax a little bit because it's a such thing as things happen and you don't really deal with it. And then once the adrenaline comes down, then you got to deal with it. That's what I'm getting ready to do. Yes, I am. I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to make me some tea. And I'm going to just sit and relax and get myself together. Yeah. Yeah, I am, Shelby. Well, I appreciate all of you too. So, thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, love bugs, protect your peace and your mental health.